If you guys are looking for some cheap coins on FC25, make sure you check out MMOEXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're fast, cheap, and reliable. And if you use my code REMA, you can get yourself a lovely 5% discount. So what's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video. Now in today's video guys, we have some tactics for the 4-4-1-1 formation. Now if you're like me, you'll have like a love-hate relationship with the 4-4-2 where it feels good in some areas but really poor in the other areas. For me it felt like it was a decent formation, but against those low blocks I kind of missed that cam, you know, that playmaker that would play that killer pass and stuff like that. So this 4-4-1-1's actually really helped because it's a similar shape. The only difference really is you have like a cam instead of two strikers, so I think it does help. But yeah man, this game is super sweaty regardless. Like I went to sleep last night, I put Nick Run the Foot Market stream on and I fell asleep and I woke up 5 hours later and he was still playing Rivals. So that's like the levels of sweat we're talking about this year. Okay then guys, so starting off with the tactics. For the tactical preset, ensure you have this on custom. This is just so you can make all the changes you need to. If you have it on one of the EA presets, you can't always change what you want, so just ensure you have it on custom so you actually have the freedom to make the changes that you want. And then the formation we're using is the 4-4-1-1 midfield, so it's this variation here: 2 centre mids, cam, a left mid and a right mid. Looks a little bit like a 4-5-1. But yeah, that's the shape we are currently using. For the build-up style, guys, I like to have this on balance personally because I feel like you get the most control when you're building up. Like sometimes your players will come short and other times they'll make those runs in behind. So I feel like the variety in attack is a bit better with balanced and a bit more consistent. That being said, if you guys prefer using something like counter because you just like countering people, or using short passing because that's how you like to play, then that is also absolutely fine. Just pick what you want. That's the beauty of the tactic system this year. You don't have to play back five, guys. But yeah, moving on to the defensive approach. Now, to be honest with you, 95 height, the aggressive preset, is actually ridiculous because, as you know, EA have nerfed that L1 speed boost, so people pretty much have no acceleration against you. So there's not really any punishment for running a high line. It's really automatic, really easy to defend. And I feel like sometimes if you're not using it, people will find it even easier to chip through ball you because there's like no pressure on the ball and stuff like that. So yeah, aggressive defensive approach is very OP at the moment, but if you don't want to use that, I completely understand. You can use something like high or balanced or even deep if you really want, but I wouldn't recommend that last one. But yeah, it's completely down to you what you would like to use. Now, moving on to the player roles, guys. As I'm sure you're aware, the way player roles work in this game is when you don't have the ball, your team will defend in the base formation that you're using for the tactics. So as you can see here, we're using the 4-4-1-1, so it just defends in that base 4-4-1-1. It's partly the reason back 5 tactics are so overpowered in this game, because you can make it attack like with so many attackers, but it will always defend in that back 5 formation, if you get me. So that's why people love to use it. So this is what it looks like without the ball, and then a bit more interestingly, guys, this is what it looks like with the ball. So we're just going to quickly talk through why I have what I do, and hopefully it will help you guys out when you try and use it for yourself. So on the striker, I recommend one of 2 roles. The first one you can use is what I'm using here, which is a poacher. The reason I use poacher is because obviously Haaland has that ++, which means he's very, very good at it. Essentially what a poacher does is they're only really there to score goals. They'll always be making runs. They'll always be causing havoc for the defensive line. And if you've got somebody like Haaland, this role is perfect for them. So you can actually score a lot of goals with this player. If, however, you want to use advanced forward, or you have a player that has like advanced forward ++ or advanced forward plus, then it might be worth using this because you get a bit more out of the player in general. It's good for somebody that has like dribbling ability and stuff like that, because it means sometimes they'll make those runs in behind like a poacher, and then other times they'll drop a bit deeper like a false 9. So you get like a bit of variation in what they do. However, it can sometimes be a bit more difficult to predict because you know how the AI is in this game. But advanced forward, just like poacher, is a very good option depending on what you want to use. Now for the cam, I always recommend playmaker. I absolutely love this role. I feel like it is one of the most crucial in this game. If you use a formation that does not have a cam, like a central cam, you will notice it in this game, I assure you. It's a problem I have with, you know, when I use the 4-4-2, I didn't like not having that playmaker in the middle. When you use some back 5 formations, if it's not the 5-2-1-2 with the cam, it also sucks. If you use a 4-3-3 and you don't have a centre mid at least on playmaker, it can be really difficult. difficult. So I think having a playmaker cam is very important in this game, and obviously if you can get somebody with that plus plus, then that is absolutely brilliant, or just a plus. But try and get somebody that has at least the base play styles for incisive pass and long ball, because it just means they will be a lot more reliable when playing these passes. So I think playmaker on this player here, and we also leave them on the balance focus so that they stick to their more general area. Now for both the right mid and the left mid guys, I pop them on inside forward. Now the reason we do this is because it means you'll get the most out of them. I really do believe that. When you use a role like winger, I don't always feel like the players do that much. I don't think they always help you out in every way they should. But when you put them on inside forward guys, what happens is they start their runs out wide, transition into the more narrow areas, and get closer to the rest of your team to help out. I think you can just get a lot more out of them. I feel like you can hit Trivellas really easily. You can hit those finesses if you've got the players with it. So I think it's just a lot easier to maybe create chances with inside forwards than it is using like wingers, because I don't think crossing's that good in this game, stuff like that. So inside forward has definitely been the most reliable for me. Now moving on to this left centre mid. So I always say when you've got a 2 centre mid setup guys, you need that balance. So you either want like somebody that's like really defensive, or somebody that can hold up the play a bit like Rodri, and then next to them you want somebody that's more of a box to box, just to give that balance in the team. So on this left centre mid and Rodri, I pop them on holding. They're going to act more of like a guardian for the rest of the team. You know, they'll defend that back line, they'll keep the play going. Rodri's got that tiki-taka so he can keep playing those short passes, and it just gives you a bit of control in the middle of the pitch when you have like a holding centre mid in a 2 midfield setup. And then next to them, like I said, we use a box to box, so somebody that is going to be a bit more up and down the pitch. You can see Thuram there, he really does just run from box to box, so you basically have somebody that will always cover that channel there, which is really useful. So yeah, box to box on one and then holding on the other. Moving on to the fullbacks guys, what I like to do is on one of them I pop them on wing back. So I pop Dalot on wing back because he has the plus version, and the reason we do this is because since we have our players on inside forward, like the right mid and the left mid, it can sometimes be a little bit too narrow. So if somebody's using like a pressure tactic, it can be really congested in the middle. So it's nice to have this wing back here that sits a little bit wider and can get a bit further up and down the pitch down that line. It gives you that wider option and helps you retain possession when somebody is pressing you. If you have somebody that has like attacking wingback plus or plus plus, you can also use that. Just beware, you can be a bit more open if you get caught out because they sit higher up the pitch and overcommit a bit more often. So I prefer the normal wingback role, but you can use attacking wingback if you would like to. For the other left back guys, I just pop them on fullback and then leave their focus on balance. Sorry, you can pop them on defense, so it defends in like a solid back 3 like this when you're on the ball. But the problem you'll have sometimes with this is you can see on the left hand side there's not really any player covering that left hand side apart from Diaz, but he'll be an inside forward, so there's not really anybody there. So if you just shift them to balance, they will cover that left sided area a bit more generally, so you have like a switch of play on and you just have a bit more control over the pitch. So I think it's very important to have this player on balance to give you that wider option as well. For those 2 centre-backs, guys, I like to put them on the defender role. I think it's the most reliable. I think you get the most AI out of them. I think they help you out in the best way with this. But if you want to use something like stopper or ball-playing defender, because that's something you really like to do, then that is also absolutely fine. Remember, you can use what you want. This video is just a guide and should only be taken as such. So I prefer defender. You guys might like stopper. That is absolutely fine. For the goalkeeper guys, I just have them on the role as goalkeeper, but if you want to put them on sweeper keeper because you prefer that again, that is also fine, but it's completely preference based. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the video today guys. If you have enjoyed or found it useful, please be sure to drop it a thumbs up, as I do really appreciate it. Sub to the channel if you are new so you don't miss out on any videos like this one, and don't forget to turn on those notifications so you are notified when a video is posted guys. And yeah, well that's all guys, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out guys, and take care.